What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for the season finale of Love and Marriage Detroit. And so y'all know how the season finale goes. We're just trying to wrap all this stuff up. So we see the second part of Brandon and his mom's um counseling session. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like I kind of got lost in the issues. Brandon said something about, his father, him and his father reconnecting, but his father feeling like he was always bothering him. And he was like, so I don't want my mom to feel like that, because I feel like me and my dad lost precious moments, because he would call me, but then he would always rush me off the phone because he felt like he was bothering me or I was too busy. And he said, I just don't want my mom to feel like that. And so his mom was like, well, I try to call you and talk to you about things that are important to me. I mean, we had this situation where I needed to get signatures. I mean, I don't know if it was some sort of housing thing or whatever, but she was trying to get signatures. And it sounded like it was something that was important to her, something she was passionate about. She was like, but it didn't seem like he cared about it. So I stopped talking about it. And Brandon was like, well, yeah, I mean, I really didn't care. Part of building a relationship is sometimes you got to listen to shit you don't care about. I mean, it happens all the time. It happens in relationships. It happens in, romantic relationships, familiar relationships, friend relationships. Sometimes what's important to you ain't always important to me, but I listen because you're my friend. Just like I want you to listen when it's the other way around. So your mom gave you a perfect example of her trying to build a relationship with you, and your response was, well, yeah, I mean, I didn't care about that. But then he did say, well, I don't care about signatures, but, I do care, about us building, being open with our communication and, getting closer. And I'm like, but that's a part of getting closer. And Brandon was like, well, she said something. His mom was like, well, we ain't gonna never be the kind of people that talk every day. Like, that's just not that's not what our personalities are. So then she asked, the counselor asked, well, Brandon, do you feel like you need to talk to your mom every day? He was like, I don't need to talk to anybody every day. She was like, see, now that's a problem. Because, number one, you're bringing that into, you talking about other things. Like, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about your relationship with your mother. Because, again, your mother is older. You may not want to talk to her every day, but you probably should check in on her every day. Even if it's just a text. If you're a texter, maybe you could just text her. But anyway, child, that was that. They ended on a hug, and they're going to do better, child. So then we have the Hopper Ray event. Now, Hopper Ray is the black-owned business in Detroit, the black female-owned business in Detroit that started this whole rift between Christina and Kobe to begin with. So Christina is having her influencer event, which I feel like might be the event that she thought Kobe was trying to push in on. And Kobe was like, but why can't we all, like, why we all can't eat? Like, I wasn't necessarily saying I wanted to push in on this particular event, but I was saying, can we do something with Harper Ray? Now, that has gotten lost in the sauce as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Christina has done some lives, and she said it was this particular event, and she felt like Kobe was trying to push in on this particular event. But neither here nor there, I don't know. But if it was an event to bring influencers together to try to uplift influencers, why couldn't Kobe be a part of it? Confused. Anyway, but Kobe and Dr. Latanya both came to support. Bravo's wife came as well. And later on, the three of them end up having a conversation, and Christina was like, I really appreciate you guys being here. I know that this was sort of like the event that sort of like caused us the issues, but I'm glad that you came to support anyway. And Kobe was like, of course, like that's what the whole disagreement was about anyway, was about us supporting each other and about us being there for each other and creating a space with each other together. So I'm not going to basically contradict myself and not be here, even though I thought about not coming. So then Bravo's wife is like, yeah, because I mean, no. So then Dr. Latanya was like, so, you think you guys maybe can, come together and, work together in the future? Which, of course, Christina is awkward, Kobe is awkward, and they both kind of looking at each other like, I mean, she said it, I didn't say it. She brought it up, I didn't bring it up, But ultimately, it was just awkward. Like, it was clearly a producer-driven conversation. that they all sit there and have this conversation. You could tell they were wrapping up this storyline for the season. And basically it was right now, Kobe was like, look, right now I'm just getting back to a space where I like her again. Like, I don't know if we ready to be in a relationship with each other as far as business wise, because I don't even know if I like her. I don't even know if I like her. Okay. So, with that being said, I guess stay tuned. Now, I done already seen the previews for the reunion, so I don't want to say too much, but okay, we're just gonna leave it. I'm gonna give you we're gonna leave it there. But anyway, so let's get to this daggone. The rest of the episode was basically surrounding this daggone showcase. Okay, so we get to the Star Factory and we are having final rehearsals, and we see Brandon's artist and her final rehearsal. Listen, I want to see the contract. What is Brandon responsible for doing? What does Brandon do? What is his responsibility in this situation as it relates to artist development? Because that young lady came in there and you could tell everything did he give her the music? Because it was an original song. Maybe he provided the music, the beat, the production. But he surely did not work on her with any sort of stage presence or anything like that. And I'm going to give Christina this. Christina was like, yeah, I feel like she did her best. I feel like she tried her hardest, but she definitely did not practice. She was running out of breath. Like, she wasn't even doing no hard choreography. And we didn't get to see any of the other artists because, of course, we just focused on this one woman. But I'm going to give it to Christina. Her critiques, I feel like her critiques were valid. I don't feel like they were overly harsh. I don't feel like they were delivered in a rude manner. When she gave a suggestion, she explained what she meant. And I can respect that. Like, I feel like Christina was very professional in how she handled that, even though she side-eyed the whole situation from the beginning. But she didn't take it out on that woman. And I can respect that, Christina. I can definitely respect that. But again, I just don't know what Brandon been developing all these months. So then we have this boring ass conversation with Kobe and Russell, where we find out that Russell's not going to buy the gym because the person in charge of the money ain't talking to him, and so that makes him feel like something is funny, that he won't return the phone calls and he won't respond to the inquiries about what's going on with the money. Well, that is definitely a clear indication that it might be something funny going on with the money. Okay, then we have Kobe saying that she thinks maybe they do need to go to therapy. Even though Russell suggested therapy and Kobe said no, she didn't want to go to therapy, but now she want to go to therapy, and Russell was giving her the I told you so side eye about the situation. But that's what it is, okay? That was pretty much that scene. She said they need to work on their communication because over the last couple of months, things just, she just needs him to talk to her first before he go out here and do things. I really don't feel like Russell heard nothing she said. And I don't know if Russell's going to hear anything from a counselor, because I think Russell has made up in his mind that he has all of the answers, that what he says is correct. And her admitting that she feels like they need to go to therapy after he suggested therapy didn't do anything to help. He was like, so basically I was right. That's all he heard. He didn't hear nothing else she said. All he heard was, so I was right. Then we have Dr. LaTanya and Anthony basically having their wrap-up conversation. And basically she was like, I need you to let me know when you need me. Like, when you feel like I don't have your back and I'm not supporting you, I need you to be vocal about it in the moment. But again, I feel like Anthony was. I feel like Anthony was very vocal about feeling like he wasn't supported. And when you get the whole story, they talked about Anthony moving to Atlanta. They knew it was going to be a long-term situation. Anthony had a whole apartment down in Atlanta. Anthony was flying home every weekend. He was leaving on Thursday, and he was flying home on Thursdays, coming back and leaving on Sundays to go back to Atlanta. So he was coming home every weekend. Now, again, that doesn't take away from the fact that it was hard on Dr. LaTanya. I think they have 3 kids, It was during the Panorama. She's an essential worker. So it doesn't take away from the fact that it was a lot on her. But I also want to be clear that this wasn't something that just popped up and Anthony just left. Like, he was still very present. And you know, I think he was clear. I don't know. Anyway, that was their little wrap up conversation. So then we finally get to the showcase, and it does look like it was a successful event. There was a line. The place looked like it was full. You know, everything was cool. Everything was cool. Christina definitely let Anthony know that she still felt some kind of way about the fact that there weren't enough Star Factory artists represented. But again, y'all keep only showing us this one artist. So how many more artists were supposed to be there? Because all y'all keep showing us is this one woman. This one girl who was late to the showcase. And she performed at the showcase, and I don't think anybody was overly impressed, but she didn't totally fall on her face and embarrass them. Like, she definitely can hold a note. You know, she's definitely beautiful, but I mean, is there things to work on? Clearly. Again, it makes me wonder what the hell Brandon been working on, but you know, not my business. That's between him and Christina, and you know, whatever contract this girl signed. So then, Sean shows up, aka what that man, the guy, Anthony's guy. Brandon immediately has an attitude because Brandon is like, what is he doing here? I was clear, what's his name, Tyreek or something. He was like, I was clear, and I told Anthony that I didn't want him as a judge. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. And I'm going to tell you why. And I said it in my review. You started off real clear. You were like, he can't do it. I'm putting my foot down. He can't do it. And then you and Anthony had your little argument. And then Anthony said, well, can you just think about it? Can you think about it? And your response to Anthony was, all right, I'll think about it. Now, I don't know what was edited out of that. I don't know what happened after that conversation. I don't know. But I, as a viewer, I can only go by what they showed us. And from what they showed us, you told Anthony you would think about it. So in Anthony's mind, that was a yes. Because he had already told you he wasn't going to back down. So it really was about you putting your foot down or Anthony putting his foot down. And Anthony had put his foot down, you had put your foot down. But you the one that blinked. You blinked. When you told Anthony, okay, I'll think about it, you blinked. Y'all was playing a game of chicken. And you blinked. So that's why his ass was there. So then he started flirting with Christina a little bit. Talking about why you not up there. I mean, you need to be up there and you can shut this whole thing down. And, you know, and she was like, Sean. He was like, yeah, see, that's how you know that we go way back because don't nobody call me Sean. She was like, well, you going to always be Sean to me. And he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. Because Brandon was like, well, I know y'all knew each other before me. He was like, yeah, so I got, what he said, I have seniority. Baby, Brandon held up his wife's hand and said, no, this gives me seniority. Showing that wedding ring. I said, I know that's right, Brandon. You better let him know. But there was no outward, you know, rudeness. Just a little bit of, you know, basically a dick contest to see whose was bigger, really. And Christina was like, I ain't trying to start no mess up in here. You know, this is an important day for Star Factory. So I really ain't trying to start no ish, okay? So it seemed like the showcase went off well. It was a great day. And that was pretty much where this episode wrapped up. So we got the reunion next week. I feel like it really don't need to be no two-parter, but I'm sure they're gonna try to milk it and maybe give us a two-parter. But I feel like it's a one and done situation. So the reunion is next week, y'all. Now Anthony did a live earlier this week, and he said that he hasn't heard anything about a season 2, and they haven't actually started filming anything for season 2. But again, what do I keep telling y'all right now? With the writer's strike and the actor's strike, I'm not holding my breath. I feel like a lot of these reality shows that may or may not have gotten renewed in the past are going to be renewed. So I feel like there will be a season 2. When they're going to start filming it and what that's going to look like, I don't know, child. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later.